I'm glad you're home safe, brother. Hashtag Witsit is home. Welcome home. Welcome home, Witsit. How about that?
Hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, the I'm a big Rob
A
Skiba
level head, by
fan,
the way.
so
Yeah, yeah. Newest information. A level head. How about that? Thank
yeah,
y'all. Proud
I
and sacred. The best show. The best show out right now. All right, go ahead. My bad.
no, it's okay. I was just shouting out my Rob Skiba was a that was I know I'd watched it later um than it had aired, but I remember watching him come in on that boat and being able to see that far away. And I mean, the look on his face was the same look we all had when we were watching it. Like, how is that possible? And then you have to admit it's hilarious when we get gaslit and people say, "Oh, that's a mirage." It's like, what? What the hell are you talking about? Like, I mean, I get how easy it. I remember I was blind, right? Like at one point we were all still under the spell. Like, and by under the spell, I mean even just a little bit, right? Because there's a visceral reaction I know we all come up against with people, even if we just say something like firmament, right? Like what? Immediately you're exactly like Sacred said,
Yeah.
you're nuts, right? And it's like, well, here's the
And
problem. What's
all the
happened
smoke
is,
will fall. It's happening now. It's
yeah,
the
of course.
luminaries. We can see them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like the thing is that through the education system, we have made it by the design. It was by design to make it so, and I believe it was it Albert Pike, who was a famous Freemason, as well as Karl
Yes.
Marx. They had the same concept, which was
Yeah.
to create inner infighting, any kind of infighting, preferably use race because that's a quick one. It's a visual thing, and then you would do class, and then you would do. We know we all experience this. Like we know it. We've seen it before. It's disgusting. But in the schooling systems, they also completely took away, like from a young age, they ingrained in us the inability to just communicate with each other. Everybody has this very defensive, very childish approach to things. And I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying, like, if we're being completely honest, we're more emotion driven than ever. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way, there's a lot of theories that postulate, and it was by plan. In the Pike, if you read any of the Mason stuff with Albert Pike, I don't recommend following any of it. They're Luciferians, so it's not a place you really want to go. But way at the top. So when it comes to I think where we've gotten this way where we can't even talk about globe or flat and hear each other has to do with the fact that we were trained in school from you listen to authority, the bells, the scheduling, your little space, your little locker. It's exactly the prison model, right? And we know how well the prison system, all of our corrections, not to mention school and medical, we know how all those systems seem to have some sort of weird rigging going on, right? So we've been trained to be combative with each other instead of fellowshipping. And that's what we're supposed to do. That's why people go mad when they're locked up in a room alone, right? It's not supposed to be that way. We're supposed to be able to learn from each other. We're supposed to be able
Yeah.
to, most importantly,
And I,
listen to each other,
yes, I,
right?
I second that. I second that because look, I broke my neck 20 years ago. I'm 42 now. I have two boys that are fully grown, just finished college, right? One's in Washington right now, and one just left. I've been at a Christmas get together all day. It's my mom's 70th birthday, so I'm lucky for that. But I'm a quadriplegic, right? I have nothing but time. Listen, if they called you ADHD, it's bullshit. You were a
Yes.
genius. You were just an undernourished genius. And the creator is real. He's alive. He's alive. This whole system is breathing. It's a breathing in, breathing out. It's a phi ratio, 1.618, right? It's a 2 to 3. The analemas are a 2 measured to a 3 in the south. It's like that. It's like that everywhere. It's called nature by numbers. It's called God's fingerprint. Everything is a toroidal system. It translates motion from the big luminaries all the way down. Austin knows that very well. He spoke on it many times. It's look,
It's the Fibonacci sequence,
if we
right?
are one,
It's there.
yes, yes, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, on and on till infinity. It's
Hmm.
and also it's the energy is so much that um, it replicates and multiplies at such a rate that is so undeniable that there's a creator, there's a power source that's untapped, pure energy. BlackRock and Vanguard want to control that, but we want to give it away for free. It's the new revolutionary industrial revolution, and
But you know
it's
what's
free. It's
wild?
all here.
If you look into the old
Go
world,
ahead.
and I call it old world because Tartaria was a real place, but Tartaria, that's a whole nother subject. But speaking on what you're saying about free energy was already here. I absolutely urge people to look
Oh
into
yeah,
Old World. I recommend John Levi. He's very fun and easy to digest. He's funny, and it does extensive research. He's done
yeah.
a with Martin Linkey. Martin Linkey. They did a book together, and they're starting a
That's
website. But the
that
free
was
energy is
British.
real. There's a terminology with if you
Yes,
look at what we've been taught in school. We are taught there is Greco-Roman and Gothic, American Gothic. Those were the two styles that supposedly were just we just were building like crazy with the small population that we had at the time, who most of them were at war when a lot of these buildings were first started here. Which, needless to say, you obviously know I don't believe any of it. Um, but there's this thing called they call it Antiquitech, world fairs,
yes.
old world fairs are another topic to look into because it literally there's just pure saturation of like what are they? They are hiding so much from us in these world fairs. They were demonstrating a lot. Tesla was shown a bunch of times during World's Fair, but what was really happening is that they were finding these buildings with technology they didn't know how to use. Not really. They had to get some of the wilder scientists like Tesla, like people who were willing to try to record um, ghost voices, right? Like willing to really stretch the limits of what is out there. And this was back when we still had ether as an element on the table of elements. So back then, each of the all of these buildings had these spires on top of them, and they had on the spire it would collect energy that would be flowing through the ether, like channel it in down through a bulb that would typically have red mercury. Then it would channel throughout like the whole house and or building into these eventually making its way so that you had energy into the home. That's why all of the old fireplaces, a lot of them, they have this, they don't have space to put wood in. It's because they weren't meant for burning wood to get heat. The heat would be generated through behind these metal plates that were in the fireplace, in the what we would consider the back portion where we would put in our modern fireplaces wood in. But there was no space for that. So a metal plate that had all kinds of tech, inside it for harnessing.
Radium,
And yeah, well,
radium.
radium was used. Radium was used in there because it kept the heat going, so you didn't have to keep the energy channeled to that specific spot. Kind of like a light switch. You would have a bulb in your light, but if you turn on and off with a switch, so you don't burn out your bulb. You have a little switch. But then there would be these two each of these fireplaces would have a metal plate, and then they would have these two spires that would be sometimes up to 3 feet
Mhm.
tall, but no higher out in the front. And those were
Yeah,
radiating.
it's
They would help
big.
radiate heat. That's the only explanation as to why these huge, giant places, which would have literal tapestry wallpaper and paintings. Why would they have
Mhm.
oil paintings above, and this ornate, amazing homes, by the way, filled with lead paint because lead paint was actually good for you. It actually kept radiation from coming into the home. That's why they got rid of lead paint. They didn't get rid of lead paint because apparently all of our grandparents and parents were eating lead paint off the wall. That's a lie. It's proven the reason why they got
Yeah,
rid of
but
it is because radio waves and microwaves were barriered from coming into your home. Why do you think they want everyone to have Wi-Fi? So they can ping us walking around our house. Now they can because we don't have lead paint. It's so fascinating. I apologize for
let's
taking up this space. I
no,
obviously
no,
am easy for talking.
You guys mind if I chime in? I'm sorry. I see you guys. You're going pretty good, and I've been listening. I wanted to
go
ask
ahead, buddy.
Miss Mag a question before you get off or stop talking. Because you said you had a background in the occult. So I had just a couple of questions about what are these guys up to? Like is there black magic? What are they? In
No, 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 no,
what do
no.
you call it? Like are they working together with other
Frequency,
creatures
frequency
and stuff like
machine.
that?
Well, here's the thing. With when it comes to um, I'm not talking about Kabbalism. I'm talking about the Cabal, which means it involves everything from the Jesuits and look it up. I'm not talking about Jews. Some people think people are talking about Jews when you say Jesuit. It actually means highly trained, dark agenda based Catholics, high adept priests, and papacy type stuff. But it involves everything from the topper echelons because above masonry, I mean, it's all masonry is the easy one for everyone to pass, and then they do all their silly things. But there is essentially, okay, newsflash: angels, demons, God, devil, all real. Okay, all real. It's all real. They all know it's all real. They fully know that the Bible is real. And so do occultists. I mean, usually some people who stay in occultism too long, I'll be honest, I think they get sucked into a different kind of lie, right? But they know. In my book, I think, in my personal opinion and theory, and the research that I've done, I feel that especially around the beginning of America, our founding, something a huge lie was done. Some people believe it was a reset because we had some mud flooding. We had the 1812 Carrington event. We were,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things were going on during the time and shortly after. But
Well,
there
also, we
are
were
a
finding a lot of architecture
and the
with all
proof
this
of
technology.
and the yeah and the but what I think is interesting is that these people, I just call them the controllers, because it's really what they're doing. They're controlling this setup. They're not the ones that are really in charge of creation, but they are, you know, they're like the bad landlord, right? So um, what they believe in is the both spiritual and technical approach to control, and that includes things like, everything from propaganda, everything from mind control, everything from um, what we're all holding we're all holding this phone, right? Like Nostradamus and would have been like, oh, you guys are all sucked into something here. We are, but we're trying to use evil for good. There is magic to this. Magic is real. Now, I get it. Like, um, what you're doing when
There's
you're
like
doing
they use
things
sex
like when people mess with
what the
these things, when you're
Freemasons.
messing, oh yeah, well, see, they have they themselves, everything, believe it or not, the Illuminati is not the tip of the iceberg. Masons are slightly below them because Masons is easier to walk around because you have to get to the 33rd
Yeah,
adept, and there's different things involved in that, and then it depends on if you go the Rosicrucian route or if you go the Jesuit route or if you go, there's a lot of there's literally a whole, if I could show a map I would right now, this a chart anyways. It's quite extensive. It's deeper than you think, and it literally goes all the way down to Rotary and all that. But yes, these people believe that magic works.
go ahead.
People like Joseph Mesmer, he believed that it worked. How did he know that? Because he was an occultist himself, a spiritist. In fact, he was one of the people who founded Spiritism. But what he knew, and what all of them know, is that you can words are there's actually a term called word witchery, right? That's where manipulation and persuasion and hypnotism and all of these things, the propaganda, the words that you use, word salad. Everyone's been saying that since this last election, right? So we all know that stuff exists, but it is a spiritual backing to it. And when I say spiritual, I mean these people use whether most of them are working with entities, or believe in entities, believe they're channeling their deities, believe they're using demonic forces. I mean, if you're going to try to convince a whole country, this is a great example. If you're going to try to convince a people that there was nothing here, and I don't mean this in any degraded way, this is how it is in our history books. If you're going to convince us that when they showed up here, there was nothing but teepees and animals, and that's it, and then they came in and built all of this, they're lying. I'm not saying they didn't build buildings, but they're lying. They came in. This is a great example of this mind control and this magic work, right? Of hypnotism, of spells, really, like really. When we supposedly founded this country, there were tens of thousands of insane asylums everywhere, all over our country, orphanages, all over our country. In my opinion, I think that and I'm not the only one that thinks this, but I postulate the reason why they took some of these buildings they found, which were basically castles, and all of these places were filled with people, adults in insane asylums and in orphanages. I think more than likely those were people who the spell wasn't working on, or people who were refusing to be a part of whatever this lie was.
Can I say this so we're not pondering, like just trying
Yes.
to guess, like, because there's a lot of guesswork to this, right? And there is real history that has been uncovered, right? And there seems to be a cyclical nature to what's going on right now. And it's happened in the past, and it will be as in the days of Noah or the,
100.
let's say, Atlantis days, Lemuria days. Look, in Google Earth, just under the ocean, you can see in this damn it, concave mirror of the Earth, or convex of the mirror of the Earth, is showing this, and it matches up perfect. We can see this, but Google Earth, the watered down version they're giving us, is showing us, yes, there were these countries to the right, down below Mexico to the right, if you're looking down south, and to the left in the middle, going toward Antarctica and all that, and the other side. Okay, this is here. We can see that. Or if it's all just a magic show, if it's all just a magic show, and
No,
the
it's not
lights in
just
the
a magic
sky,
show. Yeah.
hold on, listen, hear
Sorry.
me
Go
out.
ahead.
I'm using satire here. This is like dry humor. I'm a dry humorous kind of guy because it's priceless. Comedy has always been the truth, and the music's always been the truth of what Lucifer can do, right? With music. Okay, listen, you're right. Yes, there's magic words, there's music, there's these ways to make money and get these systems in control over time, but it is cyclical. Now, does it happen all at once and it bam hits us and all this ice starts melting and we're moving and the sun is moving faster and faster in the magnetic north? Maybe over the last 7 years it's moved 200, or 4 years it's moved 200 miles, or 7 years and 200 miles, right? It's starting to speed up. There's something happening here, and we're seeing the luminaries do Nikon P900s, good telescopes. Joe Hamby's doing good work. We've all seen this, right? Everyone posted real videos back in, and we gathered them up and we got them. We gobbled them up. All the good videos, the real P900s, the P1000 videos of the luminaries. Look, we're seeing them lower in our sky now, lower degrees. If you want to look at it mathematically, who cares? It doesn't matter. What matters is we all wake up right now and help each other.
Amen.
We know the truth. We've proven the floor flat, water dynamics. It's a sine wave. It goes up and down, Annalima's around, up and down on the firmament. It gets higher in the north, goes down south, gets lower, up and down, and it goes around and around and around. It's going faster. It's moving faster now, guys. Wake up. We're here
Yeah,
to help each other. Stop being
agreed.
anxious. We love each other, right? I love all y'all. I don't know you, but I love you as a brother or a sister in Christ. Or the real work, the groundwork's been laid by people who know there's a creator. Those luminaries are living. They're faster than light propulsion. They're lying to you. I love you all, but I'm gonna stop there for a minute.
All
I
right,
love y'all.
real quick then. I hope you guys are enjoying this build.
Amen.
Everyone, thank you again for coming and stopping by. I want you guys to finish your final thoughts on this. Anybody else have any final thoughts? And then we're gonna outro. We're gonna give you guys an update for what's going on in the week. Sarah last goodbyes, and then we're gonna head out. So if nobody else has any final comments on this, let us know.
Listen, I'm gonna send you in sacred song I did. It's about power wheelchair soccer. I played power wheelchair soccer for almost 15 years. I was a coach for 2 years of that. So in 13 years, I went to my coaching days. Like I'm getting older, man. I'm telling you, my body hurts. I'm doing what I can, smoke my little CBD, whatever, get it legally online now. It's pretty cool, legal. So I got kids like older kids. So I'm gonna send you a couple things as a flat earther now, a brother in Christ. Man, I know y'all believe in a creator. I like how you bring this laughter, man. Sacred's got this laughter, bro. When he hits something good, funny, man, he gets that laugh. And proud, man. You're so provocative. Like you probe people, right? You probe them to find out things. So let's keep doing that. I love y'all, man.
I love
Uh,
Alan laugh for that. Alan got a great laugh when he feel like something's funny. But appreciate you, RG. We'll be back next week
Yeah, I
with
love Alan too.
Turtle.
I love Alan too.
quickly, just Miss Matt, can you put in that reference for the people that you mentioned earlier on this occult stuff? Is she still in here?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question? Would you ask?
Earlier, you referenced a couple of people that had more information on the occult stuff. Can you just mention those again?
Yeah, when it came to which part, just about who's in charge and if they believe in that kind of stuff. Um, I
Yeah,
would
yeah, about the
I would look
bloodline.
into just Google Albert Pike. That's a good one. I would Google John D. Rockefeller, and also Jekyll Island, because Jekyll Island is a good one to show you that these people were willing to go to extreme lengths to ensure that their endeavors for this country went the way that they wanted. Um, and Yeah, and I also encourage, RG was saying you can Google Earth some stuff. You can also Google Earth old grid lines all over the Earth. You'll find lines that look like there used to be subdivisions in the middle of the desert. You even in our just try America. It's insane. Places like Utah and our Midwest area. Those are and star forts. Google star forts, check it out. Those are actually free energy ether deflectors. If you look at them, most star forts, we were told they were built for wars. They are not. They are power generator deflectors. They help ease tension in the grid where energy would be sourced, pointed. Some of the star forts will have little an extra arrow, or like one that looks more not a point but looks more like an actual arrow, and that's literally the direction that it would deflect any extra energy toward. It's quite fascinating, everybody. But yes, we know there's a creator. We all have to wake up. We just have to wake up. We gotta stop giving a rat about these puppet shows. It's a show. Like we can't hear anything without being like lied to, right? There's a creator. He's real. He loves you. And, yes, we've been lied to, but he will never lie to you. He is not the father of lies. The father of lies is the devil. Um, I love you all. Thank you for having me on your space. I talk a lot about things that I'm passionate about and talk a lot in general. But thank you. God bless you all. You all be in my prayers. And God bless you.